country, which feeds the cities. This is the California of author John Steinbeck, where spring is both a season and a source of inspiration.
Both these documentaries were produced in conjunction with Seattle's City Fair. King 5 Public Affairs, continuing programs and specials that are timely, topical, and local.
Welcome this morning to the Eucharist.
Each week, King 5 produces Eucharist, a full religious service for shut-ins, and Dialogue, a conversation on religious and social issues. And King 5 captures the magic of Christmas with our annual visit to St. Mark's Cathedral for the Midnight Mass. And the Martin Luther King celebration, live from Central Seattle.
From Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, it's the Seattle Mariners against the Minnesota Twins.
Seattle Mariners baseball. This is one of 20 games televised on the King Sports Network.
King 5 travels throughout the United States to bring live events to the Northwest. "16 Jack Patera shows. And we cover the events from Seattle like no one else. 9 cameras, a helicopter, and 120 people to bring Washington its Thunderbolts. 6 continuous hours of live coverage. Seafair is a big event in the Seattle area, and King 5 is there to bring it into our viewers' homes.
Be particularly aware of the muscles you have in your shoulders and your chest, the top of your back.
Continuing shows like Shape Up, Pep Up Seattle Mornings. And ideas on gardening are put to good use in the afternoons. Seattle is honored as the most livable city in the United States. King 5 reminds our viewers why. Northwest Indians had the mountain, Tahoma they called it, all to themselves until a couple of hundred years ago. The white man didn't reach it until a little more than 100 years ago. Since that time, they've started clamoring all over it. What has the mountain become to us? What has happened to it along the way? What will happen to it because of us and by itself? From the top of Mount Rainier to the bottom of Puget Sound.
New divers such as these often view a Puget Sound dive merely as troublesome preparation for a trip to the more exotic Caribbean. But once underwater, they discover the Sound's inhabitants are every bit as exotic as their better advertised counterparts in warmer waters.
The traffic is heavier than usual today, even with the gasoline problem. Say, what if I told you you could get out of all this and take your family to some fantasy place like the Old West, or merry old England, or an historical presidential resort, and do each of these for a weekend on about a tank full of gas? Well, these fantasies and more are brought to a reality right here in the Northwest with Dick Klinger and his family in Winthrop, Shirley Hudson and hers in Victoria, and Cliff Lentz with his family at Lake Quinault. So stay tuned for Fantasy Weekend.
We even went to Alaska to share their 4th of July. Sometimes we do things just for fun.
The unmentioned factor in the Pierce County racketeering probe is all the soldiers who went into the bars and taverns owned by Carbone and Williams. This man isn't a soldier, he isn't in Pierce County, and he isn't going into a topless bar. But see how furtive and criminal a long-distance lens makes him look? I'm Dennis Arndt.
I'm Megan Dean.
I'm Jeff Steitzer.
I'm Marnie Moseman.
I'm Bob Wright.
And I'm Greg Palmer. Not those stories, but others, tonight on The Year So Far in Review.
Where's the action these days? At the disco. Now you can go discoing every night and be the most popular person in the world. The famous Disco Drummers School can teach you that famous disco beat in just 8 short weeks. These students at the famous Disco Drummers School are learning the beat from Staying Alive, YMCA, Hot Stuff, In the Navy. Let the famous Disco Drummer School do it for you. Famous Disco Drummer School is not associated with Harvard.
Humor, public affairs, news, sports, information. A good mix for another outstanding year at King 5. How can we top it next year? We started this year by investing $18 million in new studios and more space. They should be ready soon. King 5 is television at its best, and we're here to stay.